Ah, hello, John. This is John. So, this is my video vlog. Today is the 23rd of January 2006. It's kind of cold in my room here. I'm in the office. So, I wasn't sure what really to talk about today. I'm just kind of warming up my voice for class in a few bits. This audience is for me and no one else. You see, I've been thinking a lot about the future and the past lately, and I realized that I need to have kind of this sort of thing, and I've got multiple little video logs now. Not so many, but I got them. And I realized I wanted to have something that I could kind of keep track. You know, my thoughts, my life, and something for me to look back on. You know, maybe someone will play this one day. I think there's plenty of for historical purposes. I'm not history. I'm just here. But when historians look back, a lot of them like to look at you know big figures and stuff. But to get kind of the backstory of what's going on, it's really fun to look at the people, the average people, the people who got up, they went to work, they paid their taxes. You know, they don't have to change the world, but they're a part of it. And they're a surprisingly important part because the effects that these important people are having, they're important because they have an effect on a lot of people's lives. And these people, they vote, or they revolt, or they protest. So when someone says, particularly someone who's important and has power, particularly to affect other people, when that important person says they're nobody, well, they're wrong. And they should be a little scared because they're only important as long as those people that they affect let them continue to affect them. Take my personal favorite, Stephen Miller. He is, I can't even remember his position in the government, but he came on in 2016. Really seemed to spearhead some of the worst. When I say worst, I mean most negatively effective programs on people's lives. He, there are people who, will never get back their youth because of him. There are people who lost their families because of him. There's a whole story that disappeared about his policies and the rapid inaction that were required. Lost children who've been picked up, children who've been separated from families, and immigration, because that's what his big thing is. It's immigration. They got lost in the system, and it's like, where'd they go? And that's an important thing. If the U.S. government lost a girl named Sarah Baker, just making up a name now, lost Sarah Baker, a pretty little blonde, blue-eyed white girl from Minnesota. like that she was in their custody and they lost her, we'd have documentaries. What happened to Sarah Baker? What type of government inefficiency is this? We've lost, I don't know, hundreds of immigrant brown children. I've never seen a report whether or not they were found or not found hitting my feed. I hope to God they were. But where were they? Where did they go? What happened? Who were they with? Who was taking care of them? Were they taken care of? And when you hear stories that were again, before 2020, those stories of what those kids had to do in the detention camps they were put into. Again, pretty horrifying. And you know there was abuse there. And you know there was, well, lots of different types of abuse. And there's a good chance that some of those kids spent a lot of them. So coming in 10 years later, those kids are coming into adulthood. Some are adults now. That's traumatic memories that they've undergone. And he was responsible for that. There's a story of an immigrant, but he wasn't undocumented. He was working on the police force, and he was kind of a refugee. Like, if we sent him back, he'd be murdered. And boom, took him, sent him back. Family lost a father. Community lost a guardian, a policeman. It's another one of those stories. And that's just from the early time. This was the time when the old guard was still holding Trump and his staff back as best they could from utterly collapsing everything America could stand for. But now, a lot of that old guard's been gutted. A lot of it's taken away. And Mr. Miller has been trying to empower his newly reformed, highly incentivized, and very heavily, what's the word I'm looking for? When you get something funded, very heavily funded, group called now ICE. It was been called ICE, but this is a different breed. He has told them that you have carte blanche to do whatever they need. And citizens, these nobodies. These nobodies are out in the streets protesting. These nobodies are made up of American citizens. People who, in some ways, you could say, don't have skin in the game. People who look like me. People who could walk down the street and have ICE target everyone around me, and I wouldn't be touched. People like me are protesting. I'm nobody. But as a nobody, I can use my power to vote. I can use my power to protest. I can use my power to speak. And if we all gather our power as nobodies together, we become a somebody. Can't remember which writer it was. I always want to say Thomas Paine, but I don't think that's right. Not John Locke. Wrote a book called Leviathan. And I always remember the image of Leviathan. The whole point was that the king on top derived the old thought was the king derives his power from God. God select him. He is the most blessed. That's why he's king. This stupid, dumb idea. that says that whoever's on top gets carte blanche again to do whatever he wants to the people under him, which is what one side, it feels, in America is saying. But it's not. The image on the Leviathan is a bunch of people who come together, kind of make up the image, sort of the king. The king, the kingdom, derive their power from the people. In China, they have a secular thing where, I believe, as I understood it, was that the emperor did have the mandate of heaven, but the mandate of heaven was only a temporary thing. It could be moved. And the person who won the mandate of heaven, who led a revolution to overthrow the emperor, had the new mandate of heaven. But again, it was temporary. And more Western beliefs, the people give the people ruling the power, but they can easily also take it away. Stop working, stop buying, protesting. If they look around and see this rich guy makes his money doing this, then they can just stop buying that. And suddenly the rich guy's in a lot of trouble. Someone's messing with his money. What he'll do is start firing workers, punishing the nobodies. But if everyone kept it up, eventually he'd start listening to what people wanted. One of the nice things about just rambling for yourself is it's for yourself. No one else gives a shit about what I say or how I say it. Except internet trolls. Fuck them, they suck. Alright. That's enough for me. Well, try something else later.